Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be answering the question, can you beat Gran Turismo 7 with just 5 cars? We've been working our way through the majority of the campaign races with a different car for each and see how far we can get. Okay, so the first car that we'll be using is this Daihatsu Copen. Now we're going to be using this for 3 races, the Sunday Cup, the K-Car Cup and the Japanese FF Cup. So let's start with the Sunday Cup here. Just gave a good intro to the playthrough, nothing too major. It gave me a chance to see how the car drives, see what I need to do, etc. So a quick drive around Tokyo, getting into first place and winning the race. Sunday Cup done. Now moving on to the K Cup. So this was a little bit more challenging, to say the least. So I knew the K Cup was a notoriously hard event, and the FF Cup I'd be with some pretty fast competitors. So I thought it was the best idea to get some upgrades on the car first. So to do exactly that, sports computer as you see, giving us 3 extra horsepower. Gave it the ball up to increase the engine size, give it a bit more torque as well. Ended up going with some sport suspension. Thought this would help keep the car stable throughout those nasty bends at the first sector of the track. It's also done some stuff visually to the car. Had to look at the front, but I didn't get anything. Over on the side I did get these things that look pretty cool. I got this part for the rear of the car, as well as this type A rear wing. Wasn't done there though, I did have a look at a new set of wheels. But these ones look pretty cool. And then the Daihatsu was ready to go. So a quick test off camera revealed this car was nowhere near competitive enough. So I ended up getting this sports silencer, sports air for just really getting the power up. A high lift camshaft as well was purchased, as well as a sports brake kit. So now I was surely ready to compete. Well, let's see what happened. So, I was able to get somewhere, but not really fast enough. The pace I was going at wouldn't be enough to keep up. However, I then had a bigger problem. As you can see with this corner here, I start off almost level with this cappuccino. And then, just look at that. And I figured this was where I was really losing my time. But I did eventually finish in a P7, really not very good. After looking at the torque curves, I think the problem was that it was in between, the speed to go up the hill was in between 2nd and 3rd gear. So I thought a quick fix would be to get a new gearbox on this car. On top of that I did get a fully customisable ECU to seat these curves, but it didn't really fix the problem. That kind of lowered the motivation, to be honest. The stroke up was purchased, that gave it more engine space, more power. Racing silencer was bought, 4 horsepower extra, quite a nice upgrade. We also got the stage 1 weight reduction, and I thought surely if we got less weight and even more power, I should be able to compete. And once again, let's see if that worked. But before I did that, I thought let's try and change the tone a little bit. Let's try the Japanese FF Championship, see if magically that becomes easier. I knew the best idea would be go to Tsukuba, the lowest kind of speed track, and just try and overtake during the corners. So that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what happened. Quite surprised here, Civics and all that kind of stuff. I was down on power quite a bit, but somehow, after 2 laps, very short race, I was actually able to win. However, during the last corner, as you can see here, I'd just overtaken this Toyota Prius to get into first place. But as you can see here, I was kind of accelerating quite nicely, and this Civic came up to my right. I thought this Civic's going to be faster than me, and it's going to take the inside, so I need to do something real crafty here. So let the Civic go past me with a superior power, braked early to then take the inside on the Civic, a little switch up, pushed it to the outside, and then held the racing line, and was able to get into first place. Quite a nice bit of driving there, I thought. So I don't know why the K-Car Cup was so difficult in comparison, I don't know, but it was. So it's worth noting that before this attempt I actually installed both racing brakes and racing brake discs. Let's see if they make much of a difference. So the brakes did make much of a difference. I was able to stop a lot quicker and save some time. So as you can see, I've got a nice little double overtake even uphill here. Unfortunately the other 2 cars are just too far ahead. But I guess a P3 is better, and my lap times are about 5 seconds faster, which is pretty good. This time I'd been quite stupid. I'd realised that I didn't get any front downforce, but I did have downforce on the rear wing. That's a front wheel drive car, so all that's doing is just slowing me down. So I actually changed that. I installed the front racing mod, as you can see here, and that gave me the chance to do front downforce, and I took the rear wing off because that was only slowing me down. So yet another attempt here, and I was very close to P2, as you can see here with this cappuccino, and I just kind of overshot it on the last corner. Didn't get a very good line. I think I could have got P2 now, looking back if I'd have driven better, but not to be. P3 yet again. So I'm going to declare this race impossible, and I'm going to say that we're going to come back to it at the end of the playthrough. In the meantime, let's move on to the second car. And this is this BMW M3. So I'm going to be doing a series of races in this car as well. And we'll start off with the European Sunday Cup for a 400 pp. Should be a walk in the park here. So this race will give us a good chance to see how the car drives, all that kind of stuff. And first of all, listen to how this car sounds. Sounds absolutely incredible. I knew I would prefer this car to the Daihatsu. Relatively large engine, a lot of space to work with the Daihatsu. I was kind of, limited a bit. It's worth noting that I don't know this track and I don't really have any idea where I'm going. But still, walk in the park as expected. First win for the BMW. Now moving on to the European Sunday Cup, this time for 500 pp. Nice to see me actually being able to get somewhere around this track this time, which you can see here is kind of oversteering a little bit, but I'm sure we can sort that out in the future. And yeah, once again, not too difficult. I was able to get into first, relatively simple, and just cruise to the finish line to complete the race. Okay, so now we're going to get a bit more difficult, going up to the European FR Championship, 550 pp, so it's a bit of an upgrade. Now the car sits at around just under 500 pp stock, so I thought I'll put on some upgrades. Not too much. I put on this sports ECU and weight reduction, because this car is slightly heavy and that would help with stability and cornering time, all that stuff. So yeah, then that brings us on to this attempt right here. This is my best performing. I was getting the fastest lap times, and within the first lap I was already in 4th place, and then second within another half a lap. But unfortunately this BMW was just too fast. I don't know what upgrades it had, so I had a little plan. Have a look at this. So maybe not the nicest of moves, but it certainly got the job done. This time getting a 1st place finish, which was very nice. Then I had the attempt at the European 600 event. Some very tough opponents in this race, Aston Martin Vantage and the Alfa Romeo GT7, just name a couple. Better drive perhaps, and I maybe could have got them, but still wouldn't have won the race. P6 finish from that one. Just before the Nürburgring event, I knew that I would need a little bit extra just to keep up with the cars, because there would be some very tough competitors. Stage 2 weight reduction purchased, getting around 100 kilos off the car, definitely going to help with body roll. Racing pads as well, and racing discs should massively improve the quality of the brakes on this car. And that was about it. Just starting off in the rain here, and I was going to summarise what kind of happened, because I really do want to show this. Really did enjoy this as well. So I got past the Cayman, the practice from the GT5 video with the Mercedes definitely helped me with this track, and as you can see I was really kind of on fire here. Here I go past an Audi R8. Then on the same straight, right behind this Porsche 911 Club Sport. He unfortunately span out, not my problem though. Then on the straights the cars were pretty evenly matched, but I think the driving quality was what helped me get through. And I was catching up to this 2009 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Somehow I was able to overtake this. Fast forward a bit later, I was just chasing this Porsche 911 down, waiting for an opportunity to overtake, and I got it. Here I'm just 10 seconds off the lead, really hunting. I was able to get a double overtake of this Mercedes AMG Black Series and the SLS, and I was already about 5 seconds off the lead. So I thought, unfortunately, this attempt may not be the one. But either way, we'll keep on going. BMW did surprise me with the speed. It was able to keep up with these cars in front, despite with less power. But quite far, but as you can see, the AMG Black just comes past like a rocket. No way of catching that car. I realised after that that was the best I could have possibly done on that track with that given car. So to win that event I'll need to go back and do a little bit more tuning, but since I hadn't done much to begin with, that wasn't really much of an issue. So the next race was the Clubman Cup Plus. However, sports tyres were required, so I just had to quickly go and buy some. I believe Sports Hard was the one I went for. Quickly installed them, and then I was ready to go. 3 laps around High Speed Ring, let's see how difficult this would be. So off the line here I was looking pretty good, just overtaking this Peugeot here, but that Porsche was so fast off the line that I couldn't really keep up. I was able to go around the inside here and get a couple of positions, then go around the outside once again, getting a few more positions, and then I was into kind of the front of the pack. I was able to overtake that Toyota there, and then it was just me and this RX-7. I knew I did actually have the pace to get past him, and as you can see I did. But he then came back behind me and actually overtook me. And then he stayed in front for a little bit. It's kind of cat and mouse at this point. Quite entertaining now, I will admit. But yeah, on the straights I was a little bit faster. And yeah, I was kind of able to pull away from him from there. And obviously the third lap was just kind of cruising. So yeah, a nice little first place finish there. I decided to get one more lot of upgrades, just a few. Here are the ones I got. And with this I was able to complete the European 600 Cup, and I was able to win the Schwarzwald League, with some very tough opponents as I mentioned earlier around Nürburgring, and this time I was able to get the win. The World Touring Car 600 event was still proving to be incredibly difficult, and I'm also going to declare this race impossible as well, and once again we'll come back to this at the end of the video. So now let's move into the third car, the Chevrolet Corvette. Now I've always wanted to try this car, and this has given me a good excuse to drive it for a bit. Starting off here, USA FR 550, should be a walk in the park for this Corvette. I mean, yeah, it was. It's kind of a bit different from the BMW, doesn't corner as well, but it has a lot more kind of raw power and torque. Getting into first place and just kind of holding that line really to end the race. First place finish there, nice little introduction to the Corvette. So I started in the body shop with some mods to the car and a rear wing to keep the car planted. So for the USA 600 event, yeah, quite an easy race. I mean, look at the views on this track, well done from Polyphony. P1 not too difficult this time. I tried the USA 700. It was a very difficult event because of the Maverick and the C8 Corvette, which were unbelievably fast. So I had to go all in on the upgrades, turning this Corvette into the classic C5 race car. So firstly with this visual change, then quite a few power upgrades, as you can see here, as well as some racing hard tyres. So the USA 700 was pretty much a joke. I was first place within 2 laps. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Made a couple of changes to the car, so I installed a racing clutch because the upshift times were quite slow. But because of that I had to slightly reduce the power by a little bit, now down to around 515 horsepower as opposed to around 530. So the World Touring Car Cup 700, I was able to get it from like 20th to 10th halfway through the first lap, but I did forget about the fuel and tyre wear. Once I got that under control, yeah, pretty nice and easy race, marking the completion of the Corvette, first car that hasn't really given us too many difficult races. Okay, so the fourth car we will be driving is this beautiful Ferrari Daytona. This car will be used to complete just 3 races, starting off with the Sunday Cup Classic. Yeah, pretty easy. Then I entered into the historic car race at Spa. Yeah, pretty straightforward first attempt at this one. The hardest one though was this Ferrari Cup here, because most of the cars in here were pretty modern, and especially with cars like the Ferrari F12, F8 and the newly added 812 Superfast, this 1970s Ferrari did struggle to keep up. But eventually with these upgrades, and the problem was I wanted to keep this car stock because of obviously it was more expensive and all that stuff. So I had to drive really well to try and compete, but eventually I did manage to do it. Now, time to use the final car they play through the Nissan Nismo. So I had a couple of events to clear up, just to begin with the Japanese 550 and the Japanese 4-wheel drive cup. Both of these very easy first try. I even managed to do the GTR Cup and the Turbo Cup without a single upgrade on this car. I'd have to say, as standard, this is definitely the most competitive car that I've used. Then treated the car to some weight reduction before trying at the Hypercar Parade. So yeah, as you can see, the Nissan stood no chance against the Aston Martin Valkyrie. It's probably the fastest car. Probably one of the fastest accelerating cars I've ever seen, and how this car was allowed in this event is beyond me. So what I'm going to have to do is think outside the box a little bit, going back to a Gran Turismo 4 strategy of just keep on entering and joining until the Valkyrie is eliminated from the opponent's cars. Tried it on Trial Mountain this time, the Valkyrie didn't come up, and with a pretty decent drive I was able to get the win. I tried the World Touring Car Cup 800 event, but the GTR couldn't match the downforce of Group 3 cars, so I gave that one a miss. Let's go back to those other two impossible races from earlier. Now if I zoom in here, you can see this red light appearing, so this is where traction control is kicking in, limiting the turbo output and thus limiting my power. So I had to turn traction control off, and once I'd done that I just managed to win. But let's go back to the BMW. So as you can see here, I had to swap on the original suspension to prevent the car from bottoming out. Then I had to turn traction control off once again, but the car did immediately spin out. Not too surprising though. Then I got this. At least it gave me more downforce, actually lowered the PP and kept the car more planted. At least it did give me more downforce, actually lowered the PP and kept the car a lot more planted. And with the spare PP I got a new silencer, and that's why the car sounds a little bit different. Managed to win the event as we first try this one. I managed to win the event, marking the completion of the playthrough. I hope you all enjoyed.